Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Marzullo here, Ram Studio Comics, and I got another video for you. I was sketching some characters, just kind of playing around. I do this a lot where I just, draw random scenes, random expressions, characters, everything from Mr. Creepy over here to, you know, pretty little damsel over here, just whatever. Just trying a variety of different, expressions. But the one that I wanted to explain is this one right here. This is a tricky one for me, always has been. It's the upshot. So what I wanted to do is not only, I didn't want to just draw this off a blank sheet, but I thought what might be a nice little change up from what I normally do on the channel here is to show you this one, but then recreate it over here. So let's go ahead and try that. Hopefully it'll be beneficial to you guys. We'll see. Be sure to let me know what you think after you watch the video here. So at any rate, the reason why upshots are always tough for me, or always have been tough for me, is getting the proportions right. And even this one over here, I can see some flaws. The nose looks a little weird. Eyes are too big, whatever. But it's not one that I would necessarily say is a horrible upshot. It's just, they're just really tricky for me. So maybe I would probably even accept that one based on the fact that I struggle with them. But it's knowing that about my art and about myself that, makes me keep working on those. And, I'll definitely feel a whole lot better when I finally feel like I've somewhat mastered drawing the upshot, because it's always been that chink in my armor, so to speak. So, all right, so what I would generally do is, throw a circle in there, draw a jawline off the circle, and get my basic form, maybe outline and silhouette the shape. Now, I do have this one to work off of, but I think this is predominantly the way I did it anyways. Now, I would do a center line through the middle of the face. I would do a rotated line for the eyes. Now, I make sure to rotate the lines upward immediately, because that's, the shape that the face is taking on. I also make sure to put the eyes up higher. Now, if this was a straight on shot, the eyes would be about there, maybe even a touch lower. So with an upshot, all these features have to raise. So that half and half thing kind of goes out the window. I generally just, kind of place them based on visual representation of what I know, it wouldn't be on a straight on shot. One of the other things I do, I make sure to draw the mouth in first. The reason why is it's a little bit more elongated, or a lot more elongated than it normally would be. So I make sure to get that in first, and you'll see I kind of move my lines around. I don't always get them just in the right spot. In fact, I probably rarely ever get them in the right spot right off the start. But I'm really open to transforming my work as I progress through it, which is something else that I recommend, because it's it's something that will help you move forward through your art and not always get too frustrated. Okay, so now one thing that I want to point out with the teeth here is this is what I would call, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but a multiple or dual compound curve. So what I see with the teeth from this kind of angle is you want a front shape of the teeth like this, and then you want a secondary back shape progressing backwards. So I would call it some kind of compound curve or dual shape or something. If you look at it that way, it seems to be easier to construct these. And then for the front, you just do like maybe the gums or something, and you can real quickly get kind of that shape. It's better than trying to draw each individual tooth. You can go back in there and soft erase and detail that. And the bottom teeth just end up being kind of this upward curve. See that? Same thing with the tongue. If you want to draw it like this, but this is the way I think it adds a little more expression. If you show like the tongue, the tip of it like that, something like that. And then you shade the back. And you just do that with some quick line work and scribbles or whatever you want to do, cross hatching, whatever. So that's pretty much how I'd form the mouth, and you see it's a little bit different. I'm sure this character to the right is going to look a little bit different to the one on the left here. But I'm going to do my best to make them line up, because the other thing that I think is really important about even doing this type of exercise that I'm showing you here is that it strengthens your mind for recreating your own characters, and which, for a comic book, that's highly important, right? You got to have continuity with your characters throughout the book. So you should really practice this type of stuff anyways. It's not always the most fun thing to do because, it's obviously more fun to always draw something new. But there is a certain amount of training that you should do with your abilities. And I would say this is one of them. So, it's up to you. If you don't feel the need to do it, that's fine. It's just something I recommend, but whatever. So, and now the bottom of the lip, I'm going to make sure I throw a nice heavy shadow under the lip, break that off into some little thin lines like that. And that's, to me, that's a lip, their bottom lip as quickly as that. Now, the other thing that I'm already seeing here in difference is that, I've got the mouth down further. I've got the nose slightly larger. The mouth is even slightly larger and different in the angular shape right here. But the main thing that I'm seeing that shifts this all together is the chin, the jawline. So now all I can do, or what I could simply do, is soft erase this jawline a bit. Start getting rid of some of my sketch lines or lightening them up just a little bit. And even this is a first round sketch, so I can lighten that up a bit too as I go. But yeah, I can strengthen this jawline. And just keeping in mind too, if this is a character that's more, a superhero, one quick way to do that, to show that, is to just give them a stronger jawline. Give them that big, bulky, meaty jaw, and they're going to look like they're more the Barney bad butt of the bunch. So let's see, let's swing that around and get the cheek in there. Okay, so now, yeah, the nose still looks a bit larger, so I'll take that and I'll grab the whole section there, scale that down a bit more. And I'm going to be real particular about positioning. I'm just going to keep watching the distance from the lip to the nose there, from the nose up here to the eyes. The other thing is that obviously the eyes are very tucked in close with the nose from this angle. So we've got the arch right here. Now if we look at the bottom of the eyes, they're a little off. So just a little bit off right there. But if we look at that, and then we look at the distance from the tip of the nose there, or the bulbous part of the nose, it's not very, very far off. So I'll just kind of make a little reference point there. And then make sure that rotational line goes right there, and that's the bottom of our eyes. And the more the head's tilted back, the more those are going to drop. All these facial features are going to condense down together. Now you can still pretty much use the distance from the nostrils to the beginning part of the eye. So you can see I got that right there. It's pretty close. So that still plays true in this type of angle or shot. Something like that. And I want to bring that angle in a little bit more at the mouth. But I could probably fix that in the next stage of the sketch. Okay, so now we've got the eyes placed in. I'll go ahead and throw the eyebrows in too, because I use the distance from the eye right there to kind of place the eyebrow. And this works with portrait painting. This type of, measuring distance from the other objects works with any kind of drawings you do. And just the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's, it's far from perfect. Especially I'm far from perfect in doing this type of method, but, you find little tricks and you get better as you go. And the eyebrows, just so you know, one of the tricks that I always use for doing eyebrows is I picture that I'm drawing this distance until I'm getting to the curve of the forehead, and then I shoot like a little point downward. So that's where, because I used to do this thing where I would draw like this, and I come over, and I go down. It just never looked right. They're all just style choices, but now I just draw them where I picture the change in the forehead starts to bend around. You can kind of see that. And that's usually where I put the pointedness of the eyebrows. And all that is just what you like to see in your characters. There's really no right and wrong way to do any of that. Now, one of the tricks for the eyes that I want to show you that I feel helps me get a little bit better eyes. I still feel my eyes aren't as good as I'd like to see them, but always do the top eyelid heavier. You know, for women, you're going to do like this nice, thick, blacked out eyeliner look. But for guys, you still want a little bit of that in comics. You just want to make the top eyelid heavier and more line weight. So that's one way to kind of trim it out and give it a nice look. The other thing is to do your eyes somewhat like this, and this again style choice, but this is the way I like to do it. I'll make the areas around the eye thicker like that. I'll do the pupil, do a little highlight. I'll make sure that the line for the highlight is really thin at the bottom so it's not contradicting with the other line work. And then a nice heavier shadow under the eyelid. And you just got to play with that and get it the way that you like. But that's something I feel gives a pretty decent look to an eye. And from this angle, you might argue the point that you wouldn't see the upper eyelid. You could do either something like this, which would probably be more accurate than what I've got over here. But just to keep in point with trying to make it line up to this other piece of art, I'm just going to put the little thin bit of the eyelid right there. And then the little wrinkles off to the side. And then this line is kind of what I would picture the sinus area coming downward, and then just kind of break some lines off like that. Do that on both sides. Nostrils are just kind of like these little bean shapes from this angle. I always do this thing like this now. I'll do it larger so you can see. I always do like a nostril in these little lines. It's funny, you see them on a lot of cartoons too, but I think they look cool and even more semi-realistic comic drawing. All right, and then the other eye. Now, because I'm doing the pupils higher to the eyelid, upper eyelid, it looks like he's looking up and away from camera. If I wanted to change that, I could simply move the pupils down and take the iris part of the eye and, you know, shift that to where maybe you see, like for instance, if you do it like this, now it looks like he's a little bit scared. You see a little bit of that white up there, and he's looking down at camera with his head pointed up. So it's amazing how just changing the shape of the eye and the line work in the eye can convey a totally different mood really quickly. Okay, so something like that. And let's see. Oh, the cheeks. We can probably throw those in now. These tend to be lower now from this angle. The higher that I put them up here, I think it looks less realistic. I don't know. I'd probably have to check reference there, but I think I'll go with the same artwork. I'll do them lower. Do the same kind of, you know, line break right there. Like so. And the little side wrinkles of the mouth right here. And the other thing that happens is the lip starts to tuck right up to the chin. So this line that would normally be lower from the bottom lip, like from a straight shot, you usually see it kind of like this, where you got the lip, or this is the bottom lip right there, and then you've got this gap and those little pouty spots, and then the chin. You know, something like that. But since the mouth is wide open, the lower lip tucks down and it presses against that little area of skin or whatever. Sorry, I don't know the terminology for that, but hopefully you understand that. Give him a little bit of a butt chin. Okay, And then, yeah, the other thing is that with the head tilted up, the ears appear to be a lot lower in perspective. You see, I just try to break up the lines as I'm going. I'll show you that in the hair too, where I pretty much just draw like these dark segments to the hair. And I'm keeping an eye mainly on the highlights in between as I do it. I'm trying to get like this texture look as I draw the hair in. Alright, some wrinkles here. I'm filling that other eyelid. Yeah, so I try to draw these. They're kind of repetitive shapes, but then I just break them up here and there. I do like a little flip of the hair. I'm actually not lining up to the way I did it on the left though. Yeah, I don't know why I put the the one I'm drawing on the right and the one I'm studying on the left, because I'm left-handed, so I'm like blocking my artwork right now. It's really well thought out. You think I've been left-handed for let's see, I just turned 40, so I've been left-handed for 40 years and I'm still having a hard time figuring that out. Genius, genius, genius. Alright. I'm a pretty smart guy. I know left and right. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend doing that in the opposite if you're right-handed, and if you're left-handed, to think about that. It's always been a struggle being left-handed. I've smudged my work every day of my life. Or my writing, I should say. My work too, but I guess I was just used to it from always smudging my writing, since we have to write from left to right. Wasn't fair to the left-handers, I'll tell you that. Come on, I'm struggling with the hair here. But yeah, you know, you see, and I'll clean that up in the next sketch layer. Boy, yay. All right, now, yeah, my guy on the right has a lot bigger forehead. So how do we fix that? We can bring the hairline in further. And the more we bring this hairline in, the more we'll shrink his forehead. Hopefully. And let's see if by adding a little bit more of the texture lines, if that also helps clear up a lot of this blank white space we got up here. Again, the ear is lower. We can use this as a diagram to line everything up. Okay, so that basically gets our, you know, our beginning stage of this into place, you know, and I can modify this as I go. And it's close. It's not identical to the character, obviously. Like, it'd be pretty embarrassing if I just took this one and lined it up over top. You'd see how bad I am at this. But you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do it because I'm crazy like that. You want to see something crazy? Here we go. Let's be crazy. Oh my god, it's bad. It is bad. Yeah, it almost doesn't line up. I mean, the chin's bigger. See if I can squish them into place. The mouth's off. Yeah, wow. That's pretty bad. Okay. At any rate, no one's perfect, okay? Nobody. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'll just time lapse this next part. I'm going to clean this up. I'll just soft erase, or maybe I'll just tone the layer down. Then I'll clean it up, and I'll try to get it a little bit closer as I clean it up. But, you know, it's hopefully just showing you the methods and the things that I would look at as I try to draw an upshot. Oh, I guess I could throw the shadow under the neck too. But yeah, I'll go ahead and time lapse this next part, and let's see what we get. Okay, so there we go. Obviously, some differences in the two characters are not identical, but it's just a good practice to try to do stuff like this. Find the flaws. Little things I would notice if I was looking at my work objectively now is that it looks like this guy is looking off to the side a little bit more. This one has a little bit more. The shape of the head is different on the top of the brow, which lends to a better tilt back look on this one. So it's just little things like that you can look at and study. The distance in the nose is a little bit different in there. So, it's a good exercise to try and really feel your work out. And, as far as the tilted back shot of the head, the more that you bring the head back further, the more the elongated shape is going to take place, so the chin will get wider, and that's just, basic perspective drawing. So you'll draw perspective lines. And then the more the eyes will appear to get further up onto the face, the nose will appear to start blocking the eyes and the brow even further, and then the mouth will distort. And this is all just however you see the picture and how distorted you want the angular perspective of it. But that's essentially how you would just shift it to get a really drawn back perspective. And another thing to remember is that the jawline almost never points upward. I remember having that problem quite a bit when I was drawing in the beginning. I would always want to draw, I'll show you real quick. I'd want to draw the jaw up like this. Now the head does do that, but you pretty much have to have the camera right under the jaw for that to occur. The neck would then turn to a rounded cylinder shape going up. So this does happen, but only in the utmost extreme angles. For most tilted back head shots and upward shots, the jaw will always be a rounded down line until it tilts back really far. So just keep that in mind. It's such a simple thing, but it's problems like that you have to find in your artwork, and then it all starts to make a little bit more sense. So let me know if this video has been helpful, what you'd like to see in the future. As always, I bring at least one video a week. I try to do more when I can. And I got new videos in the works, so be sure to subscribe, like, and share. And we will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Keep drawing. Keep having fun.